So I hope everybody's having a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, a wonderful Saturday. I hope it's a Mary Poppins type day for you. You know what I mean? Nice, easy day. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Now for me, my Mary Poppins type days are a lot different than your Mary Poppins type days. I had my Mary Poppins type day yesterday, and it was a disaster. I ate all the food in the world. I broke my diet. I ate everything, man. I drank all the Mountain Dew there ever was, that there ever will be. I destroyed it. I could feel myself getting fatter by the hour. No lie. No lie. The only thing on my Mary Poppins day, the only thing that was popping were the buttons in my pants. It was that bad. I mean, I don't know how else to explain this day to you that I had yesterday. I don't. The only thing I can do, I only know how to sing it. So with that said, let's sing it. Philly 500 had a bowl full of sugar to make the Mountain Dew go down, to make the Mountain Dew go down. Philly 500 had a bowl full of sugar to make the Mountain Dew go down, to make the Mountain Dew go down, because he knows his diet always stinks. Yep, the cowboy, Mr. McLean. You Americans are all alike. But this time, John Wayne doesn't walk into the sunset with Grace Kelly. Scary Cooper, asshole. Oh, demon! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! That was crazy! Happy trails, Hans. Dallas still stinks. Everybody, King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a wonderful weekend. Me, it's day one of my diet, restarted. It's very hard to restart your diet after a day like yesterday. It really is. But you know what? I'm doing it. I'm double moonwalking the day's ass, and that's all I can do. Now, what I want to talk to you about in this video isn't the buttons popping off my pants. It isn't any of that kind of stuff. The hips that have to be buttered to get through the door. It ain't about the 3 chins in the back of my head. It ain't about any of that kind of stuff. What I want to talk to you about is a report that is basically coming out from Ian Rappaport, who was on the NFL Network, and he was discussing Nick Foles, and he was saying that the Eagles are expected to pick up Nick Foles' $20 million option. So as expected, the Eagles are going to pick up Nick Foles' $20 million contract option. Now, this makes sense. This is expected. I know a lot of people out there are thinking, oh my gosh, this means the Eagles are keeping Nick Foles. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be here next year. But that's not what it means at all. The reason why the Eagles pick up the $20 million option is because it's the only way to guarantee that they get some sort of compensation from Foles if he goes somewhere else. Okay, so basically I see 3 options after the Eagles pick up this contract. The first option, and probably the most likely, if we're honest, is that Nick Foles, the Eagles pick up the option, then Nick Foles will have an option to buy out the contract for $2 million. Now, once he buys out that contract for $2 million, he becomes a free agent. He can go wherever he wants to go. Now, when he signs with another team, this would guarantee the Eagles a compensatory pick. They would, at the very least, get a compensatory pick. That's why you pick up the option. Okay, the second scenario, and the best case scenario, I think, is that the Eagles pick up the option, they get together with Nick Foles, they find a team he wants to go to and a team that needs him, and then all 3 parties work out something so everybody gets something out of it. Nick gets to go where he wants, he goes to a team that wants him, and then the Eagles get something for him. So that would be the best case scenario. And I'm really hoping that's what happens. So the third option I want to talk to you guys about is what I think is the most unlikely and most risky scenario for the Eagles, and that is to franchise tag Nick Foles. Now, I know this goes against some of the reports out there. Adam Schefter reported that the Eagles are going to franchise tag Nick Foles and then trade him. But I got to tell you, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's an option. Now, I'm not always right. I could be wrong. But when you really think about it, or at least when I think about it from my point of view, it doesn't really make any sense to do it. Now, from an Eagles standpoint, sure, it makes a lot of sense. But from another team standpoint, why would you wait until the Eagles franchise tag him and then trade him? Because here's the situation. Once the Eagles pick up the $20 million option, we know Nick Foles then can buy out of that contract for $2 million. Now, once he buys out of the contract for $2 million, then the Eagles can franchise tag him. So once the Eagles franchise tag him, they're basically saying that they're going to pay Nick Foles, what is it, like $25 million as a top quarterback in the NFL, okay? Now, when the Eagles do franchise tag him, there's a certain amount of time that they can rescind a franchise tag, okay? Because the last thing that they can do is franchise tag him and then have no trading partner, trade him nowhere, and then be stuck with that salary. You don't want to pay your backup quarterback $25 million to sit on the bench. So once you franchise tag him, you have to trade him. You have no other choice, okay? Unless you rescind the franchise tag. So they have like a couple weeks to a month where they can rescind it. Once it gets to a certain point in March, they can't rescind it anymore. So if you're looking at it from another team like Denver or Jacksonville, why on earth would you sit there and wait for him to be franchised and then make a trade with the Eagles where you're going to pay Nick Foles $25 million and you're going to give up some pick or something like that? Why not just hold tight, don't do anything, force the Eagles to rescind the franchise tag, and then when Nick Foles is a free agent, you pick him up. You probably get him cheaper and you don't give up any compensation. I think franchise tagging Nick Foles doesn't make any sense to me. It really actually tells me that the Eagles will get no value for him and they may run the risk of having to guarantee a $25 million contract for a backup quarterback. So I don't think this is, I know Adam Schefter put in there, and I'll put the link in the description, but I don't think it's a viable option. I don't think it makes any sense. If you're going to trade Nick Foles, you do it before you have to franchise tag him. You do it once you pick up that contract. You go to Nick Foles and you try to work something out, or you have something with another team. Otherwise, I don't see how franchise tagging him is going to make any sense. Of course, we look at it from the Eagles' perspective, right? From our perspective, yeah, franchise and trade him. But from another team's perspective, why are you going to franchise tag him? Why are you going to trade for him when he's franchise tagged, have to pay him that kind of money unless you rework his contract, but then have to give compensation? If you all stand put, lowball the Eagles, force the Eagles to rescind the franchise tag, then he walks as a free agent, then you can go after him. So I think this is the least likely thing to happen. I think the most likely thing is that the Eagles pick up the option, Foles buys out, and then he goes somewhere and we get a compensatory pick. Maybe the Eagles and him work something out with a third team. That would make the most sense. But I'm not buying the whole Adam Schefter report about the franchise tag. And I just wanted to add that in there. Anyways, tell me what you guys think. This is our last day of being defending Super Bowl champions. Tomorrow there will be a new team crowned. So enjoy, Eagle fans, and tell me what you think about this situation. What do you think the Eagles are going to do? I'm curious to know. And don't forget, I will be streaming the Eagles game tomorrow. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. And don't be a dingbat.